Yes. All right. So we're going to kick this call off tonight. This is December 4th, and yes, I'm home. I'm at home in Atlanta, Georgia, and we're doing this call really because a couple of things went on recently. I was having some leadership conversations and really focused on helping some folks get to the end of the year with a clear understanding of what steps they have to take to get their 2017 to be even bigger and better than they even ever imagined. Okay, is there anyone on that? Anyone on the call that's feeling that? Are you right there with me on that? How many of you would like to have your 2017 be so unmistakably greater than any year you've ever had? That you're prepared to make some very distinct changes in what you do, how you do it. I mean, many of you have already made a strong commitment towards participating in the world of digital currency. So that's an incredible change right there. But to be ready to take it to the next level is what we're about to talk about tonight. But I think it's only fair for many of you who don't know me, I'm going to just pause and hope that everyone knows me. But let me just say that I've had a long career in this world of network marketing. And what that really means is that I've seen good and bad. I've had highs and lows, ups and downs. It's been painful. It's been joyful. And the interesting thing is where I sit right now, I've been able to catalog and archive. And some of you know how meticulous I am about archiving and cataloging things. I use Dropbox with every category you could think of to make sure that when I need information, I can get it. But, guys, let me just share this with you. I went through many years, well over a quarter of a century, where I was stumbling. I don't like to use stumbling and bumbling because, trust me, it wasn't because I wasn't intellectually attuned to what was necessary to do this business. But there were so many different aspects. There were so many different avenues, so many different ways in which we could potentially build and work that I never really knew exactly which road to take. Has anyone ever experienced that? I mean, there are just so many different avenues coming your way. This expert says that. This other expert says this. And some days you're trying this one and then say you're going to try it the other way. And I was guilty of that. So if you were afraid to raise your hand for fear that someone might actually see you and think, oh my God, did this person really used to function like that? No, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about me. I'm talking about for the greater part of a quarter of a century. You're talking about 25 years that I did what you would consider average. Yet I was in the mainstream of this industry. I was amongst leaders, but it was just average. And I say that not to say anything, but or bad about myself, because it wasn't for the lack of trying. I mean, I just didn't know what I don't know. And if you're going to write some stuff down, I'm going to point out from time to time some things you just really need to write down and start making them your affirmations so that you understand, especially when correction is available. Because I didn't know what I didn't know, and I didn't know it. Does that make sense to everyone? You don't know what you don't know, okay? And when it's not happening for you, you start scrambling all over the place looking for the answer, but you don't know that you don't know what you're doing. And especially if you're educated, there's a diamond consultant over in the UK. I love this guy because he's the first one to say, look, I'm not educated. And yet he's living an incredible lifestyle at the age of 25, living well, all of the creature comforts you can ask for that comes with success. But he's the first one to say, hey, listen, I'm not educated. So please slow that down, take me back through this and help me understand. Now, maybe it's a cultural thing, but there are so many people that are so opposite. But I'll tell you that I may have seemed like I was opposite, but nobody really knew. I was hungry for the information. It wasn't until about 7 years ago that I got my, not a wish and not a dream. It wasn't anything like that. It was a prayer. My prayer was answered. I prayed. I'm talking about prayer. hands and knees down, praying, begging to my Creator to lead me and deliver me, something that could change this vicious cycle that I was on. Okay, I'm talking about a 25-year vicious cycle that didn't matter what the company was. It didn't matter how early I got on or got in the company. It didn't matter, how close to the success. It wasn't happening for me. And I prayed. I said, Lord, if you allow that mentor and that leader to come my way, I will become the best student. I will work harder than anyone else in his midst. And I will make sure that I become successful and tell the whole world how I got there. So it's just what I made a commitment to do. And when I look back at it, because I didn't sit down with this when I met him in March of 2010, and I've been following him, meaning I had seen his name. I knew who he was. I knew his success, but I never had a chance to meet him. My very first meeting was 2010. And it was March. We sat down, and I was kind of thinking he was seemingly as impressed with me and my career from a professional standpoint, meaning my professional training and my success in the traditional world of business, as I was about his network marketing experience. But the truth of it is I was more impressed because, you see, a lot of people can have traditional success, and I'm not trying to offend any of the doctors and the lawyers and the chiefs and the Indian chiefs and the high priests and all the others in traditional world, okay? Because I know some of y'all are on the call. Not trying to offend you, but I'm talking about a lot of us can have that success in that industry or in that traditional realm, but coming into the world of network marketing is a whole different animal. It's a whole different perspective. It's a whole different thought process. And what I'm saying to you, if you can really get the point of my prelude, my preamble to this training, is that I couldn't even tell that I wasn't adequately prepared to do what was necessary to do in this industry because I was so positioned from the traditional. I hope everyone can hear me. You don't have to, say yes, but a head nod. And if you don't want to nod your head, blink your eye or something. Just let me know that you're with me on this, because, to really know that this industry is changing lives and changing people, as we can see. And, I shared with a gentleman, a brand new sapphire out of the Florida market. He knows who he is. We had that picture where he was excited because, he got pinned and he was great. But I did something else. I showed him the kind of volume that goes through the organization on a weekly basis. And it's almost unbelievable that kind of volume, and I'm not talking about we were moving product. Remember, we're not a product-based company, okay? But it's amazing that we're not moving product, but that's all euros, that's dollars. I'm talking about currency that's going into acquiring our currency, which is OneCoin. And when you understand that, it's almost almost unbelievable where we came from and where we are. So understand that I had to stop and say, wait a minute, no. My prior success was only a preparation for what I was about to engage on, but it meant nothing except what he was prepared to teach me. And I didn't even think about it as he was teaching me. I didn't question it as he was instructing me, as so many of us tend to do. Wait a minute, I need to understand it before I can go do it. I need to wrap my head around it before I can start to execute it. The answer to that is a resounding no. You do not have to. What you must be willing and capable of doing is becoming a good listener. You have to become ultimately and totally trainable and coachable. And you have to be ready. As I shared on a call earlier this week, some of us are going to go down in history. There's some people I'm looking at. I don't want to call anybody out, but there are some incredible leaders on this line. We've had sapphires and rubies and emeralds and diamonds on this line, and some are going down in history. But here's the interesting thing. What I said on that call was that many of us are going to go down in history. We're going to be jotted down in history as this movement of digital currency, the transition is happening. but we're willing to stake our claim, and many of you in your respective countries stake your claim that you're willing to go down in flames or go all the way to the top. Is anyone there? I mean, again, you don't have to say a word, but just your head nod, I'm just going to check on over here and see. Okay, I wasn't sure. That looked like someone from Kenya was on the line, and I think I do have some Kenyans on the line. Over there, it's probably, let me see, it's about 5 o'clock in the morning over there in Kenya. But guys, understand something, and it's so powerful, but you have to make a change, okay? Because as I shared with some folks, and I don't often bombard the groups with as much information that floats in my head. So if you think about something for a minute, whatever information you get from me, okay, and think about this, because a couple of y'all, and I'm transparent enough to tell you, there's a couple of you got a couple of choice words from me over the last 24, 48 hours about being able to communicate what I communicate out. Because you, as leaders, have to be ready to take on a higher level of responsibility. Listen to me carefully. You've got to be able to take on a higher level of responsibility in order to achieve a higher level of responsibility. Yes, it's a parable. It sounds almost like a parable, but let me help you understand what that means. That means that there was a time where I was developing that my leader would literally give me more than I was accustomed to handling, meaning that whatever I had already achieved, I began to lead something bigger than I had become accustomed to. That it didn't matter that I had already mastered and succeeded in the realm for which I was comfortable, that I was given more and asked to do more consistently, which meant I was being stretched. And the amazing thing about when you're stretched, it never goes back. You see, when your mind is stretched and it's open, you can never go back. And that's where we are today when I tell you that it's all about changing the way you look at the business. And Amarachi, I'm gonna call you out because you're so good at making adjustments, and I'm so proud of what you guys are doing over there in Nigeria. You, Jamie, and so many others are leading the way. So proud of what you're doing. But a couple of days ago, Amarachi came to me and he said, "Sir, some of the folks here are having trouble wrapping their minds around it." And I said, "Yeah, we got to stretch them, and that's your responsibility. Okay, you've got to stretch them, and it's your responsibility." But see, here's where it becomes very distinct, that the responsibility isn't to go grab all of the people, the people, meaning the members or the team per se, as we sometimes make the mistake. But we have to go identify the leaders, so that let me kind of change the theme for a second. And I used this recently as an analogy of a shepherd with a flock. A shepherd with a flock will have a couple of stronger sheep, but when that errant sheep, or a few of them, just go off on their own tangent, it becomes a distraction, and it can literally take everybody in the wrong direction. So what you have to be prepared is not to try to guide all the sheep, but to identify the ones that are most prone to either go right or wrong and get them to follow. Does that make sense? What it means is you must identify your leaders, because as you identify the leaders, the followers will come. We're talking about the 80-20 rule that has been so defined for many, many years in so many, many different capacities. It's been identified, that has been proven. But the 80-20 rule also has another breakdown within it, because that original 80-20 rule, ladies and gentlemen, within the 20%, and I want to tell you, the 80% will be quote unquote, and not to offend anyone, but the followers, and the 20% will be the leaders. The 80% might be those who are enjoying what they're enjoying, but the 20% may be the ones that are driving to the next level. But here's something very interesting that most people never thought about, that within the 20%, there's another 80-20. Now, let me just pause for a second. So first you take the masses and realize there's an 80-20 separation. And once you identify the 80-20 and realize that the 20s are going to be the movers, those that are going to make the major changes, that within the 20%, there are going to be the 80-20 again, and those are the elite. And don't be offended by the categorization. Just make sure you understand where you fall into it, okay? And with each, I mean, guys, I was watching football today, notice today I'm not wearing my colors. I decided, and don't you look at me funny, I decided to cover them up because, both my teams, I mean, the team where I live and the team that I root for, fell under pressure. I don't know what it was, but anyway, I'm going to recover from that. See, if either one of them had won, I'd have been boasted. I put that down. Put that down. I see people flaunting and all that. Don't do that. But as I was thinking about the players and I was listening to the introduction of a gentleman that I watched play, and I don't need to call his name, but he's an absolutely incredible player in his position. But while he's an exceptional player, there are so many other notable elite players that he oftentimes doesn't get the recognition that he deserves. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where the 80-20, he's in the 20%, but within that 20%, there's another 80-20 distinction that elevates people to a whole nother level. And that's who's going to build your business. Ladies and gentlemen, understand something. You can have a very good time prospecting and recruiting the 80%. And it will take you a long time to get where you're going. Why? Because money likes speed. Money likes speed. Success likes speed. So when you're working in a category that they're not accustomed to that, it actually slows it down. And then when you have to slow down to cater to them, it causes the whole group, because they say the speed of the leader, jot that one down, the speed of the leader will determine the speed of the pack. Okay, the speed of the leader will determine the speed of the pack. So you have to ask yourself, okay, when thinking about your organization, how do you determine it? And ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if we have 500 people on this call. We can have 1,000 people on this call. But the speed of the leader will determine the speed of the pack. And that's why I'm so very proud of the leaders that are within this organization. We've got one Emerald. He's over there in St. Vincent right now, okay? We have another Emerald who's over in St. Lucia right now. And I'm not even sure where Gordon is, but he's probably somewhere else. I mean, he and I are talking in the middle of the night about launching another country. And you see, because these leaders, they were here, but then as they determined that the speed was necessary, they began to elevate and separate. And as they began to separate, now they're creating within their own realms their 80-20. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't come from being that, I mean, Mother Hubbard with her, wasn't it Mother Hubbard that had all the, I mean, I don't know if I got all my fables and my fairy tales and all that other stuff in order, but she had a whole bunch of them, right? No, come on now, save that for somebody else. You see, what I determined was that prior to meeting my mentor, my philosophy was always geared towards, gotta lead everybody, gotta get everybody, and come on everybody, kumbaya, let's come on and do this thing together. And it took that much more energy to try to corral all the people. That means the fast, the slow, the injured, the crippled, the whomever, the negative, the positive, the ambivalent, and the determined, the driven, every category of personality that you could find when you're spending all of this time trying to corral everybody in a kumbaya kind of situation. The speed of that leader is diminished. So how do you get and rectify that? Well, you have to say, like I was told and had to do, raise the bar. First of all, my belief had to be stronger. That's what the B is for. See the word B-A-R, bar. You have to raise the bar. The first word bar, the first letter B is to raise the bar, which is the belief. Your belief has to become greater than everybody else. Because ladies and gentlemen, I had a chance tonight to read some negative. I was out there looking for some negative stuff. I said, let me just see how reading some negative, because there's always some negative out there. And I said, let me read some of this negative stuff that I was about to say something else. It's Sunday, so hold on a second. I was reading some negative stuff that people, I promise it's Sunday for at least a few more hours, but I read it and I said to myself, you know what? 4 months ago, that might have affected me, but my belief has been elevated so high. my theory, my understanding is so elevated that your foolish disposition, no matter how loud, and have you ever noticed how loud the ignorant can be? I'm sorry, that wasn't a curse word, right? Somebody, come on, that wasn't a curse word. Come on, somebody, come on, let me know I'm still on track. Just because you're ignorant. All right, I'm not trying to be offensive, but you don't know, so you're ignorant. But you ever notice how ignorant people like to talk loud? And I was just really thinking about that. And I said, those of us, most of us who are assembled here, we're humble, we're modest, we're professional, and as a result, we're not heard like those arrogant, obnoxious, negative folks because they want to be ignorant and obnoxious. Isn't that amazing? And I just showed, and I just watched, and I said, wow, yeah. The ignorant, negative folks were talking loud, and the humble were responding, professionally. And I said, yeah, that's how it goes. And people will tend to believe that. But when your belief is there, nothing will shake your belief. Nothing will push your belief left or right, because your feet are grounded. You understand. And like I said, you will either go down in history or you'll go down in flames. Which one are you going down in? You're going down one way or another. So I'm just letting you know, you're going down in history or you're going down in flames. That's the key. And are you prepared to put yourself in that situation? Amarachi and Janie and so many others out there in Nigeria, they are putting themselves in the firing line. If I see correctly, Nabi, you're over there in Kenya, right? Just give me a thumbs up, right? Maybe you're over in Kenya, am I right? All right. She's prepared. She's on these calls. Matter of fact, she was on the call at 9:00 her time, because somehow when it communicated, it wasn't clear that it was 9:00 my time. But so she was there wondering, telling leaders, hey, where are we? I'm there. I'm waiting. I'm ready to go. She says, wait a minute. We're ready to go. It's 9:00. The call has to start. And then we had to clarify, no, it's 9:00 North America Eastern Standard Time. But here it is. She could have used that as an excuse, because now 8 hours or how many other hours later, 9:00, so 12 hours later, she got to come back. Okay, or whatever difference of time it was. No, it's actually 8 hours difference, because she's an 8 hour time zone difference. So 8 hours later, she comes back because she is determined. And then there's so many others. I can't see everyone. You just happen to be on my front screen, maybe, so I see you. But see, when you're strong and willing to do it, then you have to be able to say the next step after the belief is elevated, the bar being raised, the action comes into play. So you have your belief, then you have your action. Now, we can spend a whole hour training on action, activity. We can spend more time talking about productivity and knowing when you're spinning your wheels. Anyone from the Northeast, I know we can either use a vehicle in sand or a vehicle in snow. We can use a vehicle in mud. But you ever seen a wheel spinning in mud or sand or snow? All that energy and the vehicle's going nowhere. Just because you're exerting some energy doesn't mean that you're getting anything done. Are you productive? But you must start with the action. So the appropriate influence and credibility will bring forth the action, the desired action that will lead to the R, which is the desired result. See, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm trying to let you understand, we call this the art of the launch. You have to raise your bar, because only then will you be able to launch a business. You see, if you saw the caption of that image we posted, amateurs will join network marketing companies. And for 25 years plus, ladies and gentlemen, I joined company after company after company after company. I joined them company after company, and I signed up, and I put my name on that distributor, and I put my social security number down, and I put my mailing address so my product could be drop shipped, and I put my credit card in there so that my auto ship can come every single month. I made sure that nothing could go wrong, that they knew how to find me to send me my products, right, David Neal? They knew how to find me, but I signed up, but I never knew the power of the launch. You see, I keep highlighting Mr. David Neal because he's a brand new sapphire in the organization, and he watched us launch. Now, it's an incredible story, and one day many of you will hear his story, but this is a man I took pride in bringing him under my wing, because on the day I signed up in that company, he pulled off the highway to make sure I had his credit card, all his details, all his information, and we put him in the system right there. He went, I went in, next person went in, he went in, second generation to me, and we went to work. But you see, we didn't join this company. Ladies and gentlemen, what we did, we were working with the mentor who was the master of the launch, and I didn't even know what that was. And within days, without even really explaining it to me, see, I'm doing something today for all of you that are assembled that my mentor, my coach, didn't even do to me. And if I can just kind of describe it to you, someone you will understand. You see, the art of the launch was, it was basically separating. And some of you may have read my message and said, oh, what is he talking about? You know, those who have influence versus those who are posers. Anyone ever met a poser, or do I need to describe what a poser is? You know what I'm talking about. I know we have some different cultures assembled here, you know, and I'm talking to those in the United States that know about the posers, but I think a poser could be in almost any language, in any, in every ethnic group, in every part of the world is a poser. Someone who's acting like they can do but can't do, but you can't tell they can't do because they are so good, they are such great actors, and they are posers as successful networkers. Now, I'm not offending anyone, because there might be a poser who snuck on this call tonight. Now, see, I don't know how you're looking at this call, but I keep, you know, I'm not looking at me. I'm looking at all of y'all. I'm looking at as many of you as I can see. And I don't know if I can look in your eyes and tell which one of you was the poser. But there could be one of y'all that snuck on this call, and it's okay, because see, we're going to separate you. Because, you know, the cream always rises to the top. And that was the philosophy of my mentor. He said, no matter what, we're going to separate and identify who's who and who's not. You see, but he didn't bother to have a call like this to prepare me. You see, we were working together. We met for the very first time, and I want to show you how speed and money go together. Is everyone okay with that? Let me see if you got some hands that'll, okay, we got some thumbs up. Okay, I'm glad. I got my South Carolina people right next to my, okay, let me just look over here. Okay, I got my Nigeria people right next to my Kenya people, right next to my Detroit people, and it's okay. Okay, because, okay, you know what? Oh, wow, there's some people who can't get on. I should have opened up the call and opened up the line. Sorry, guys. So anyone who's texting you, letting you know that they can't get on, it's my fault. I didn't open up the lines wider. I apologize for that, okay? So we've reached our max, but just let them know that I am recording it, okay, so that you'll be able to share it with them, okay? I like maxing out. How many of y'all like maxing out? Anderson, you like maxing out? You see, I love getting us to the max of capacity, because the next time we're gonna max out again. But I'm gonna open it up a little bit wider, okay? So we maxed out tonight. But here's the interesting thing. We met on a Tuesday, we spent all day together, and then on Wednesday, by mid-morning, not even mid-morning, by wee hours of the morning, he indicated that I was going to be launched using his process and philosophy and everything that has brought his success, that on Tuesday, it was 1 a.m., so it was actually Wednesday, we were launching on Thursday at 3 p.m. Now, the interesting thing about it is he wasn't even talking to me, he was talking to somebody else about me. And I'm sitting there saying, wait a minute, I'm here, I can hear you, but how nobody's talking to me. Y'all are telling me we're gonna launch me on Thursday at 3 p.m. I didn't have a choice. You see, hopefully by the time you hear this story, you will understand that the power of this was in the identification process. And so many of us aren't identifying. We aren't identifying whether we have an influencer or whether we have a poser or we have a minor or we have a person who's just looking to be, you know, I was watching a movie on a flight a couple of days ago, and, you know, there was a whole bunch of people at a town meeting, and whatever the purpose was, somebody stood up and said, I don't even qualify to be here, but I'm lonely, so I knew you guys were assembled here, so I came. You don't know. You need to know. There is nothing worse than bringing someone into your business and you don't know what they want and or need. Does that make sense to anyone? So when I ask, and many of you I've asked, you know, what are their goals? What are their objectives? How are they going to build? What's going on? He said, well, I don't know. then how did you sign them up? Were you that hungry and that greedy that you wanted to just get the commission dollars without knowing what could happen? Well, I know I used to be that guy. I was so eager to sign them up because looky here, look what I got. I got a new recruit. He's sitting right here next to me. Matter of fact, everywhere I go, he's coming with me. My new recruit. Everybody see my new recruit? And then weeks later, my recruit's gone. Because I didn't know how to teach my new recruit how to get him a new recruit. So the business ended with me getting the new recruit. Is everybody with me on that one? You see, ladies and gentlemen, until you understand that there is a process of building, you will consistently bring in new people, and slowly but surely they will die on the vine, and that's what'll happen. Okay, so I just want you to know it's a process. So back to my mentor, he actually told my sponsor that on Thursday at 3 p.m. He didn't ask me if I was available. He didn't ask me who I knew, or he didn't ask me anything that. He spent the whole day from about 11 a.m. until we were close and spending time from 11 a.m. until probably 7, and then we did a meeting, and then after the meeting we spent time again till about 1 o'clock in the morning, and basically he was telling me, okay, he was really, as I look back now, see, I didn't know it then, he was really interviewing me. He was getting to know me. He was getting to determine whether he felt that I was really that person who I seemed to be, appeared to be, and or said to be. Is everybody with me on that? You see, what I'm saying is I see all your lovely faces, but are you who you say you are and appear to be and will be? Are you? Well, I don't know, because until you demonstrate it, it really is still undefined. Does that make sense yet, right? You see, if you're in a sport and you're yet defined as that MVP or that all-star or that, starting lineup, you could be, and it's so interesting, my daughter and I had to help her understand this. She was sharing with me how one of her good friends from college, he didn't actually graduate. His dad was the basketball coach, and this young man was highly sought after. Okay, highly sought after. Matter of fact, amongst and they're Division I. So amongst everyone at the school, he was the man. Anybody ever been around the man? Okay, I mean, he was the man. Everybody wanted to be. Oh my God, he's coming! Here he comes! Oh my God, he's coming! He was the basketball star. He was the son of the coach. He has the school scoring record. Anybody know what I'm talking about? If you don't know about basketball, at least recognize that he was the best of the best in that particular environment. And in his junior year, he was drafted by an NBA team. And he went to that NBA team, and he was on the roster, meaning and my daughter didn't understand that there was a starting lineup, and then there was a bench, and then there was the practice team. She also didn't know that there was a division below them that was their travels. Basically, they're not even the people you'll see when you hear about this particular team. And what ended up happening, he played his first season after being drafted. He was drafted high in the first round, but what happened is he actually did not have, for the number of minutes he played, he did not have the kind of results they expected. Come on, Sean, you know what I'm talking about? He was allowed to play, but his points per minute and his performance was not what it was when he was playing in that other league. Hello? Somebody with me? What I'm trying to say is, when he was playing in college, he was the man, and maybe in his mind, he really kept on thinking he was the man. By the time he got where everybody who was the man from their own respective places came together, now you got 12 of the mans, and he was no longer the man. He wasn't even number 12. He was probably number 14, but they paid some money for the man. And what happened is, after that, they cut him. They released him. They waived him. But it was all right. He's a good player. He was picked up by the Chicago Bulls. I don't remember the first team that drafted him, but they paid royal money for him. They waived him. The Chicago Bulls picked him up. But wait a minute. He is not sitting next to Dwayne Wade. He is not when you see a couple nights ago, Dwayne Wade was playing against LeBron James. That boy wasn't there. Her friend, she's like, Daddy, how come I don't see him when I look at the games? Because he's not on that team. He is within the franchise. But you see, remember the 80-20 I talked about earlier? You see, he's in the 80, which is in the minor leagues of the professional leagues, because he did not demonstrate. Remember I said belief, action, results? For all we know, his belief was still that he was the man. Hello? Y'all know what I'm talking about? And that he was the man where he used to be. So when he got to where the players were at a different level, he couldn't adjust. He couldn't humble. He couldn't get himself ready to say, wait, I got to get better. I got to win everybody. And I got to use what my friend, my favorite actor, Will Smith would say, that if you get on a treadmill before me or get on a treadmill with me, you're getting off first or I'm going to die. And it was that mindset, that belief that he could overcome everything that made it possible. But see, the launch, ladies and gentlemen, is what my mentor had to teach me. The launch. The launch. What is the launch? When I can now, instead of relying only on my experience, tap into others. Everyone with me on that? Into others' networks. So when that launch time came, 3 o'clock on Thursday, I made enough calls within a 36-hour time period. And honestly, I won't tell you how quickly I had to do it because I forgot all about it. But I was able to get a number of people on that call that out of the percentages, some would say yes and some would say no. And of course, it always happens. When those who said no, those who said yes, it was still okay. I'll give you some numbers so you'll get a feel for how my launch went. Does everyone want to get a feel? I got 40 people on that conference call. We set up a conference call because I didn't know how to tell the story. I love when I hear many of you, and I'm pointing the finger, I apologize. But many of you will tell me, oh, I'm busy telling my people all about this. I'm telling my prospects all about this, and I'm explaining it to my prospects. No, that wasn't the key. What we did to get where we got faster is not rely on our own understanding, but to leverage the strength of someone else. Here's what I'm talking about. I invited for the 3 o'clock Thursday call. That's all I had to do was invite them to come to the call. He was on the call. I had to introduce him and get out the way and be on the line so that in the event he wanted to bring me up to say a few words to my people, I'd be there. That was all. That was it. The hard part for me was to separate myself in the time that it took to make the calls. Well, I really didn't prepare. I was underprepared. But in a hurry, I got 40 people on that call. Got 40 people on that call. Ladies and gentlemen, 8 of them contacted me and said, man, I like this. Wow, this sounds incredible. Okay? So out of 40 people, 8 of them called me back. And I know somebody in the group is thinking, well, hey, what about the other 32 people? Whatever happened to them? I don't know. You want me to tell you something? I remember who the 8 are. I can't remember who the 32 are. But I do know one thing. There was a guy that I used to play golf with who I invited to the call, and I don't even know if he got on the call, but I know he wasn't one of the 8 that called me. I've never played golf with him again because I was able to move to a higher level that I don't play golf in the places we used to play golf. Does that make sense to everyone? So I don't know whether he ever got on the call or not. What the key was not about the 32, but about the 8. So what we did is we took the 8, and I know somebody's thinking, okay, well, how many of the 8 you signed up? You see, that was where a lot of people lose track and say, okay, well, I got 8 signups. Now, like Mother Hubbard, Mother Hen, or the shepherd who wants to put his hand around his flock, you get your 8 people and then you start micromanaging those 8. You see, that's where we went wrong. The art of the launch isn't to just identify who wants to get started. The key to this is to be able to collapse time, create momentum, and get more people in their networks. So just like inside of 72 hours, actually within 48 hours, I was able to get 40 people on a call, of which 32, I never know what happened, but 8 of them said, I'm rolling with you. How many would like that statistic? 8 out of 40. You'd like that? So 8 of them out of 40 said, that's cool. Now, I can't tell you how many of them went on to become sapphire, ruby, emerald, and diamond. That's not important. What I can tell you is that the very next day, we did another conference call, of which those 8 people invited their friends and family. You see, you've been waiting 42 minutes to find out what the whole essence of the art was, but now you know. You see, it don't matter about the 32 that didn't get on, that didn't, like what they heard. It mattered about the 8. And it didn't matter whether the 8 signed up, because if I had gotten 8 of the lowest level packages, my business is over, because now I only got 8 people. You see, what mattered was that I could take the 8 people, and I see there's 1 or 2 of you that the glimmer in your eye, you got it. Now, all of a sudden, you're saying, I get it now. Because you see, those 8 people, if I cannot penetrate into their market, my business stops right there with them. You see, I'm not telling you what you've been doing wrong. I'm telling you what I had been doing wrong for 25 years. But not that day, not that week, and not that month. You see, what happened was, I can tell you the date it happened. We launched, the first call was on the 18th. We didn't put anybody in the business. None. But we got people on calls. Nobody's smiling with me. I understand. It's okay. We didn't put anybody in the business the next night, but we got 30-something people on the call. But guess what? None of them were my friends, except the 8 that were on the call the night before. Want to hear how better it got? Well, the next night we did another call, and we had even more people. By the 4th night, by Sunday night, the 21st of March, we had 80 people on the call, of which I didn't know most of them. 25 of them got into business. And at that particular level, that night, I became the first level sapphire. I didn't even know what the heck sapphire was. I didn't even know how to do it. I just putting people in the system. 25 people up till 3 o'clock in the morning, putting them in the system. How never did that before. You see, my previous business, after 2.5 years, I had only sponsored 17. That night, we put 25 people in the business, and we weren't done yet because the month wasn't over. It was only the 21st. So what we did is we then went into that network and said, okay, next week, which one of you want to sponsor your own launch? You see, we've got the capacity, the max capacity in this particular group right now. All right, the max capacity right here. We've got the max. See, it's not about how. I'm going to check the question, because that's a very good question. Let me read it here. How do we effectively penetrate into their market? You don't. They do. You see, if you invite and then you get them to invite, you don't have to penetrate. It's going to happen. Each one of you is an example of me sitting right here penetrating into you. How did I get into Nigeria? Very simply, I didn't do it. Somebody did it on my behalf. Janie, how long before I met you? I didn't know you but a few weeks ago, right? But Amarachi knew of me, and when he joined me, he brought you. Because you see, you're not going to take the one, remember I said about the 80-20, the one who just wants to follow and just wants to participate, who just wants to sit in the seat. Well, I'm not talking about church now. You know how some people want to just come and sit in church, right? They got the same pulpit seat. They want to come and they sit there. They ain't doing nothing. They ain't on no board. They're not serving on they're not in the choir. They just come and they sit there. That's not how the church grows. Y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Some of y'all that know anything about church, I'll just tell you, I've been in church a long time. So I'm just going to tell you, it don't come from them. It's the leaders, those who say, I'm going to do something. So how do you effectively penetrate? You don't. They do. You have to identify who is like you. So if you're running around with a bunch of, I say we talk this talk in the jargon. We use the jargon and the reference of eagles and chickens. Do you know an eagle will fly through a storm? Do y'all know that? Come on, raise your hand. Let me know if you know an eagle will fly through a storm. It don't matter what comes, that eagle will fly through the storm. Matter of fact, if a storm is coming and the eagle is flying into it, he don't stop. He don't land. He don't even go down. The eagle spreads his wings wider and he flaps stronger and he goes above the storm. The chicken sees the storm coming and says, I better land. I better go take cover. I better pull my wings in so that my feathers don't get wet. Some of y'all been around some chickens. Ain't no chickens on this line tonight. We got who? We got eagles on this line. But if you're prepared to just sit there like the 80%ers and those who are the participators, then you will get the result of it. And guys, let me tell you something. The art of the launch is understanding the process. You see, not taking anything away, okay? Not taking anything away from what you may have been doing and the kind of success that you've gotten thus far. But imagine how much faster you can move if you stop dragging your feet with the people who ain't moving forward and you keep reaching back trying to pull them. Now, come on, y'all. Come on, we going, y'all. Come on now. Come on. We getting ready. See, I don't get no smiles from y'all. I know. Don't smile at me because I know you're guilty of it. You resemble that remark. Come on, y'all. Come on, everybody. Come. You see, that's that kumbaya again. And how do I know? Because that was me. That was me. We can't move until everybody, because that's what we do. But I bet you one thing. When you get a bunch of eagles together and that eagle is flying, he's going to attract another eagle. And that eagle going to fly behind him. And there's going to be, and they don't even really like to fly in flocks. You know that, right? They fly separately. Okay? But they will attract others to say, well, where's he going? Something's going on. The art of the launch, ladies and gentlemen, is designed specifically to move faster. Because if you can imagine, on a 7-day basis, you measure your activity, and I think this is going to help everyone get a real clear understanding. If you measure your activity and you have not, in effect, replicated yourself, you have not duplicated your activity and or identified someone who's going to do what you do, then you're unfortunately dragging the flock, okay? You've got to be able to identify who it is that's prepared to step up and fly like you fly. And you may have to go through 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of them. You see, notice I said of the 40 people that I invited, 8 of them said yes. I could have stayed there and worried about how we're going to build those 8 people. Yes or yes? How many of y'all been guilty of doing that in the past, other than me? How many of y'all, other than me? I'm going to put me in there first. Been so guilty of, let's just stay there and make sure them 8 or so, we're going to take care of these 8 because now I got a team. Mr. Chester, have you ever heard me use the word team? I never do, and I'm sorry to answer it on your behalf, but I never use the word team. See, the team will always be there if you identify the leaders. The leaders will come with teams, and they will always be there. You drive your message to the leaders, everybody will find out. Drive your message to the leaders, everybody will find out, and that's the key. So I wasn't worried about the 8. Why wasn't I worried about the 8? Because my mentor told me don't worry about the 8. What he told me to worry about is get those 8 to get people on the next call. Here's what we're looking at. We'll wrap up our call with this because I know some of y'all are asking. What happens if you launch them and they don't get 8? What's up, Gideon? I see you, bro. I see St. Lucia in the house. Okay, what happens if when you launch them, nothing happens? Well, that's okay. Now you know. Okay. When would you like to know? After you've been sitting with Kumbaya for 8, with those 8 people for so long? Or you want to know right away? You see, I mentioned earlier in the call, and some of y'all didn't catch what I was doing. I mentioned earlier that last night at 1 or 2, I don't know, 8 or 9, whatever it was, 8 or 9 their time, 1 or 2 my time, I'm on with people in Tanzania and in Kenya. And the reason I'm on with people in Tanzania and Kenya is because it was 8 o'clock in the morning their time. And there's an event coming up. So now I have prospects there that are my specific prospects. And my Tanzanian prospect, who I had the primary person, I brought the Kenyan individual on as the the edification, as the validation, as the success model, and say, hey, you're over there in Tanzania, which is right next to Kenya, but guess what? Let me show you what's happening in Kenya, because this is what we're doing over in Kenya. Well, Tanzania, y'all can do the same thing. And guess what? We have an event coming up in about 2 weeks. Matter of fact, 2 weeks from today. So now here's what we're going to do. No, we're not going to sit and wait to have one person show up at the event. You see, it's 2 weeks from now. So what we have to do is get that person, because what happens if you come alone? See how good y'all are. Somebody type it in. Somebody type it in and tell me. If you come alone, see who the fastest one to type it in. I'm not going to answer. Oh, there you go. You'll learn a lot. There you go. Hey, you see who types fast. But if you come with a bunch, what's going to happen? See if somebody else can answer. See, it'll catch on after a while, and it'll become so second nature that you'll understand you can't show up by yourself. Showing up by yourself is cool. You look good. People recognize you. You'll take selfies. Take all those pictures. I don't know how you want to do it this way. I don't care how you take your picture. You by yourself. When you come with a group and you teach that group how to do what you just did, you won't have to worry about how to get them to do it. It happens, and it happens. And watch what I'm talking about. See, out of those 8 that were my personally sponsored, because ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Out of the 24, 25 people we put in the system on Sunday, only 8 were my personally sponsored. Adrian, you catching me on that? You look very, you're like a statue. Just move your hand. Let me know that you're there you go. All right. You see, you got to understand, because this conversation started with you, Adrian, because the first thing I wanted to know about was, is this person an influencer, or is this person just a very high level person? You see, you can be a high-level person but has no influence and have no desire to influence. So the first thing you do when someone has influence and you bring them into, let's see what they can do. That's what my mentor did. On Thursday, he found out what I could do, and then it powerfully replicated itself on Friday. So let me ask you a question. Does anyone believe that my mentor knew that I was the real deal on Thursday when 40 people showed up? Let me tell you, I didn't know I was the real deal. I was scared to death. I'm just letting y'all know the truth, because I'm not trying to sound like I'm bragging. No, I was scared to death. When those chimes started coming in, ding, ding, I was like, yeah. Because I swore if it was going to be me, him, and crickets, nobody would have found me ever again. I'd have just retired from network marketing. What? Top money earner like this dude doing a launch call for me, and it's just me, him, and another, and crickets? What do you say to that? I'm sorry. You don't say that. See, there's no excuses. I know some of y'all get upset at me when I try to let y'all know. But see, in this book right here, make sure I can see without the glare. You see that book right here? Secrets of the Millionaire Mind? There's a chapter, can't remember, page 50. Gotta put my glasses on. Because I don't want y'all getting mad at me, because so easy to get mad at me. You know, people do that. They get mad at me because they're like, I was on that call and I heard him say blah, 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 and blah, and yada, da, 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 and I heard him, and he has no right talking to me that way, and blah, 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 blah. Y'all know what. But I can't find it right off the top. But one of the things you definitely don't want to do, and I think it's page 56 or 58, but somewhere in there, you want to know that you will not, do not make excuses. There it is, found it. It was page 54. Okay, you will not become a victim, and it's a clue if you're a victim if you play the blame game. Don't be blaming nobody. Don't you dare blame nobody and come tell me that, because guess what? All I see when I hear you blaming somebody is womp, 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 womp. But you have just been categorized. The second thing you don't do is you don't justify. Come on now, stop justifying. Don't, well, you know, if my dog's tooth hadn't broken, then we'd have probably been able to. And then the last one, oh my Lord. See, I don't even want to, let me bring it up here. Stop the complaining, people. Stop the complaining. Don't get mad at me. Don't do it. Don't do it. You see, the secrets of the millionaire mind is how you transform yourself from where you've been. Einstein said it best. Your current thoughts is what got you into the situation that your current thoughts can't get you out of. Check Einstein. Don't be mad at me. I'm just a communicator of the message. And the reality of it is I realized because my mentor put my back up against the wall and said, do it. Well, I need time to get ready. And, my people don't react. My people. Anybody ever heard that one? My people don't respond that quickly. That one right here. That's justifying. When nobody shows up. Well, if they had just not had Bible study on you chose the day, you chose to, and in my city, they do Bible study on that night. I always ask, if that's the case, why you didn't invite the heathens? Or the atheists? Might have found a Buddhist somewhere. Somebody could have showed up. Ah, Lord have mercy. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is fairly simple if you allow it to take shape and do for you what it's going to do. Because you see, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want you to think that it's going to be easy, because those hours that I spent inviting for those people were that time period was the most work I had ever done in that short period of time. But it ultimately went on to make me a multimillionaire. So within that 72-hour period where we were getting those 8, and I only sponsored 8, then those 8 went on to bring in the rest of those people. And then out of those 25, guess what I was looking for, ladies and gentlemen? It was a simple thing. One person, Mr. Chester, to launch the following week. Because once I find that next person to launch that following week, that means I can exponentially grow my business. You see, we got to get out of the thought of linear growth. So to let y'all go and really resonate on that, because somebody's going to ask me, well, how did you get so many people to get on the call with just a few minutes? You really want to know? You see, I had forgotten that I had committed, that they had committed me to a launch call at 3 o'clock. But I was determined because I had read this book. What am I going to tell this man? Oh, well, you see, I'm the CFO of a multi-million-dollar construction company and blah, 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 blah. And we had all these. Don't do that. That is disqualification. Can I just tell y'all something? Can I be honest with you? Some of us are being too nice to some of y'all. I'm talking about some of us as leaders. Come on, amen. Amen, somebody. It's still Sunday. Amen, somebody. If no amen, give me an ouch, because I know I'm stepping on some toes. I'm okay. I already told y'all that the ignorant, they're going to be arrogant and they're going to be obnoxious, but because I'm a leader, I have to be pleasant, polite, humble, gracious, courteous, loving, kind, all of the fruits of the Spirit. Come on, don't mess with me now. I know my Bible. Don't you? Come on, look at them Christians saying, oh, he really knows about the fruits of the Spirit and knows exactly where the book is, and maybe he can call them out. Yes, he can. But please, don't let my kindness dupe you into thinking it's okay for mediocrity to exist. The room got real quiet all of a sudden. Okay, you can put the ice pack on your cheek later, okay? You can put the ice pack on your cheek later. Mr. Ali, that was a cuff in the right side of the face. He felt too, yes, sir. Don't let that happen. Please don't let that happen. Just because I'm not calling you to say, now you know you ain't doing right. You should examine yourself to know that if your business hasn't moved an inch forward, that there's something not going right. You should be the one saying, please, sir, correct me where I'm wrong, because obviously I am off track somewhere. There's obviously something that I don't know. I don't know Uh-oh, somebody's let me make sure that echoes down. Hold on. I don't know what I don't know. So how could I know? My business isn't growing. Last week we had 2 people in the group. This week we had 2 people in the group. Next week we had 2 people in the group. You see my 2 people? Yeah, because one of them quit. Because you didn't multiply. You see, 2 begets 4 and 8, and it's supposed to multiply exponentially. But if it's just you and 2, and you're managing them 2 people, then the 3rd week there's going to be 2 people. And after a few more weeks of it, then there's going to be 2 people. Because then we wonder, how come she don't show up for the Zoom no more? Because she already learned a lot. She learned a lot. He learned a lot. He didn't do anything with it. Come on, don't be mad at me now. I'm going to just tell the truth. Let's get serious. And let's not let. Yes, it's okay. I'm not sure who's right. What have you noticed that was most common in those who became the highest performers? They were coachable and trainable. They didn't ask all these doggone questions and have to wrap their minds around things. They just got up and performed. When you go into the combine, write that down, combine. Go onto Google and start Googling the combine. And what the combine is the NFL. It's the filtering process of the NFL. Mainly for those who are recruiting the best of the best, because there's so many people that want to come into the NFL that they just can't identify all these great people. So they got to test them. Who runs the fastest, who blocks the best, who throws the furthest, who can catch the best, who in the midst of the challenges will not break under pressure. And they go through a 1-week endurance examination. You see, the challenge why, it's okay, it's a good question. But you see, if you're new to the industry, you don't understand the importance of testing the people that you engage in your business. You just bring them in, get excited because you signed them up, and they're like, oh, we're going to be rich. And there you are, not rich. What I do wrong? You didn't qualify them. You got a bunch of posers. But what I tell you on the last call that I did a training when I talked about, what do you do with those? What do you do? What do you do with them? Can I tell you what you do with those who are not going to perform? Can I just tell you? Because I know somebody on the line is worried. What do you do with them? Can I tell you what you do with them? Love them. Be kind to them. Encourage them, but don't spend a lot of time with them. Is there anyone on this call that has some difficulty reaching me? Raise your hand, because I know all y'all can't get to me. All right, let me tell you who gets to me quickest that I could see, and I can't tell you. Oh yeah, there's 2 of y'all. I won't call one out because there's a reason you get to me that quick. But that man right there, Anderson Chester, can call me any time of day or night. I stop what I'm doing and I take his call. It don't matter. You know why? Because he's proven to me what he has shown me his grit. He has shown me his resilience. He has shown me that in the midst of bullets flying at him, over his head, around him, that he too is wearing Kevlar. He ain't scared. Sorry. He ain't scared. So when he calls me, no matter what I'm doing, hey, what's up? Hey man, I'm in such and such. Do you need, is it, oh no, sir, blah, blah, blah. No worries, let me hit you back. And then there's some of you, hopefully the one who is guilty of this one didn't make it onto the call, meaning they got blocked out, meaning when the call maxed out, they're on the outside. Who calling me to find out what I'm having for lunch? And I'm being facetious. Hey, what do you have for lunch? What does a champion have for lunch? I want to grow like you. What do you eat? Lunch? Who has time for that? I was talking to somebody recently. Don't react too fast, because This person was with their child, and you know how children say the darndest things. But I think it was about 6 o'clock, and I was having lunch. And the child said, wait a minute, lunch? That's supposed to be dinner. I said, yeah, well, I'll do dinner at the time that tomorrow's, because, you know, you realize that no matter the time I'm eating lunch, it's lunchtime somewhere in the world. You see, if you're busy enough, you ain't got time to be worrying about that. Call me and let me know. Hey, listen, we just got done doing a private launch Zoom. We showed in the first 16 minutes of the Zoom, we showed the video, we shared screen, we did this, we had 20 people on, 3 of them stayed on to the very end, and all of them want to get started. Great. Immediately, y'all lose focus and try, oh, how are we going to get their money? And how are we going to do this? And how are we going to place them? And exactly where they're going to structure them? And is it going to be this? And sir, can you look at where they, no. Can they come with 5 more people tomorrow? Can these 3 become this tomorrow? And can these 8 become this by the weekend? Because now I can make you a story for the other 49 people on this call to say, oh my God, did you see that new Sapphire? Just went Sapphire last week and already broke a Sapphire. You see, let me help you, Mr. Chester. Let me help the people because, you see, maybe they don't understand. Let me help the people. You see, because when you go Sapphire and then next week break a Sapphire and then next week break another Sapphire and then the next week you break another Sapphire, the chances are you will be a Ruby before the end of the month. Don't have to worry, how do I become a Ruby and what does my structure need to be? Because if you got an Anderson Chester or a Gordon Stenheist or a Cordell James or Marvin Sambo or a me looking, trust me, we're going to make sure your structure's right. But when you're calling me to say, well, pay attention. If I were to sign up 3 people next week, would I need to put them on that side or this side? Why'd you bring them first? Oh, y'all didn't catch that. I'm sorry. Nobody caught that. David, nobody caught that. David, nobody caught that. Anderson, nobody caught that. Please don't play that what if game with me. I do not have the time for that what if. I am not a computer program that does that if then loop. I don't do that. I don't function that way. I say, bring them. Let's take those that you brought, turn them into more. And then let's take those and turn them into more. So watch this. And here's how you analyze this. If while you're watching me and taking notes, you have not been scanning through the group, you know, again, I know you can go through page after page after page to see how many of yo people, how many yo people, pardon me. You see, it ain't about whether I could get 200, 300, 400 people on a line. How many can you get? Can I grab a mic so I can drop it? You see, that's how you can measure your progress. And if you are truly following a Mr. Chester, then examine and see, Mr. Chester's breaking sapphires, and he's helping sapphires break sapphires. And he's getting sapphires to break sapphires to break sapphires. And he's got emeralds who are breaking sapphires. And now they're going to different countries, and they don't rely on him anymore. The art of the launch, it starts there. Raise the bar. What do you say? I tell people very simply, I'm launching something very incredible in the world of digital currency. How much do you know about it? If you had a chance to be one of the first to participate with Bitcoin, would you have? Yo, you know about Bitcoin? Ladies hit me with that yesterday. I said, really? How much do you know? See, before she could ask me to tell her what I know, I asked her, how much do you know? Because when she tells me what little she does know, I say, well, great. Doesn't matter what she says. It's great. How much do you know? Blah, 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 blah. Great. Then you probably would appreciate what I have to say. Let's get connected and let's see if we can share some information with you. You see, before I even go further, they're going to get a video. And then after that, I already know they're going to have questions. They're going to get another video. And then after that, they're going to have some more questions. They're going to get another video. And here's how I tell a self-starter or not, because I'm looking for the self-starters. I'm looking for the coachable and trainable. I'm looking for those who have influence, okay? And I'm looking for those who have the financial capability to do it. Somebody on this line said to me a couple of days ago, say, hey, listen, I was like, okay, listen, get your money together, choose your package, blah, blah. They said, all right, I got this. No. How quick? I'll be in the bank in the morning. Question is, how quickly can you get it? I'm like, okay, watch yourself now. Watch yourself. See, okay, now one down. Let's go get self-starter. Let's go get teachable and coachable. Let's go get influence. Let's go do the same thing next week. And then there's somebody else I said last week, they called me, want to know, hey, so how do you such and such with the person that does such and such? You know, those if and how do you? There's no reason to ask, because chances are, Kendra, I don't know how you got interested in this business, but hopefully you got interested the exact same way I got the person that got you interested in this business. It was simple, because there's not a single one of you on this line that I explained anything to. I sent you a video. I piqued your interest. I sent you a video. When you came back and had questions, I sent you another video. And when you had some more interest, I sent you another. Hello? Yes or yes? I sat down and explained everything to you. I don't have that kind of time. So if you're not doing that, chances are you're not moving like me. And back to, and I can show, I have two computers up here. So I have the big screen that has all the notes and the different things that I'm talking about. But guys, let me tell you something. This is about speed. It's about speed. If you're not moving fast, chances are this is going to pass you by. And it's going to happen whether you realize it or not. It's going to pass you by. And that's not going to be pretty, because you're going to wonder, how did I miss this when I was right there? I was at every meeting. I was on every call. I was at every time that the mentor said to do something, blah, 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 blah. I was always there. Do you know what the answer to that one will be? Yes, you were always there. Should I answer it, or does someone want to type it in? You were always there. By yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that's going to be big. You got to be prepared. I don't know if you can tell, the folks in Kenya, 6 o'clock in the morning, Navy's in her car on her way to work, or maybe to drop the kids off. I don't know. No excuses, no justification, no blaming, no nothing. Get it done. Janie, it's 4 o'clock in the morning over there in Nigeria. She's up. She normally doesn't get up till about 5:30. How do I know? Because that's about the time when we're always talking. And first question, sir, do you have more codes for me, sir? Can we activate now, sir? Yes, Janie, I'm working on it. Keep me working, please. I will never tell you to slow me down. Sir, do you have more codes? Yes, I do. I'm getting them. How are you getting them? Don't worry about it. I'm getting them. That's my job. That's my purpose. Are you fulfilling yours? The art of the launch. Let me close out with letting you understand this. You want to make sure you raise the bar. Okay? It collapses time. What's the purpose of the launch? Collapse time and create momentum. It's a process of replication. You will identify key people. You're not trying to move everybody. You're looking for the key people. Why do I give so much attention to the Anderson Chesters of the world? Because he has proven it through the test of time. Your first objective, how do you get my attention? Go Sapphire. Sapphire is not complicated. 7,000, okay, with the matching bonus qualification structure. The matching bonus qualifying structure. If you don't have that, what are we talking about? No disrespect. I'm still going to love on you. I'll still shout out your team. Yay, go, yay, hey, you the man. But if you haven't had a trader who has a trader, and they don't have two that are traders, you're not going to be Sapphire, no matter what volume you do. It's just that simple. So when I talk to you about structure is important. That's why I've taught you certain structures. And Amarachi and I were talking. He said the people are not embracing that structure because when I've taught the diamond structure, they don't get it. They're not supposed to get it. They're not in charge. If they knew how to do it, they'd already be diamond. Yes or yes? Because anyone who comes up to me and they think they got it, guess what I'm going to do? Hey, go on, do your thing. Do you think? Because it would be so nice for me to lay back, chill, and watch y'all become diamond and never have to do a thing about it. Wouldn't that be sweet? Wouldn't that be sweet? It's not real life, though. So collapse time, create momentum, raise the bar, your belief, your action, and your result. Remember, action isn't just you pedaling and pedaling and spinning and spinning. You better know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, you better check with someone who knows what they're doing and verify that you are doing what you should be doing. Don't throw the random, so what should I be doing? No, what are you doing? Not what should you be doing, what are you doing? And chances are, I already know what you're doing. Chances are, Mr. Chester, come on. I'm going to unmute you so you can save me, sir. Mr. Chester?
Yes, sir.
We already know what they're doing because the results has told us what they're not doing.
Absolutely.
You know the difference between where you are today and where you were 2-3 years ago when we were together? Your activity is so well focused and so defined. Don't have to ask me. You already know.
Yeah.
It's different. And you know that the conversation I'm talking about we had when you were in New York.
Yeah, I remember.
You're on a whole nother level. The mindset is a whole nother level. Mr. Chester didn't come and ask me, so what should I be doing? He came and found out what I was doing, what needed to be done, and that's what he did. He found out what Marvin was doing. He found out what Ego was doing. He found out what I'm doing. Found out what all the top leaders he's come to. He has gotten on a plane and flown to London to watch what we're doing so he can replicate it, so he can launch other countries. That's why he and Mr. Granger over there in St. Lucia launching other countries. That's a launch.
Yeah.
When I was talking to Gordon just launched the Bahamas. That's a launch. You take one person, you expand it into their people, and then their people into others. You don't need to sponsor 20 people in one new country. I don't need that. I don't have that. Make sense? All right, guys. Hope you got something out of it. Hope it helped you. Anybody have another question? I see only that same person is asking most of the questions. I thank you. I know who you are for asking those questions. Any other questions? Good point. Bev said always there, but no, there was no action. Very good point. Any other questions? Are you prepared? Are you ready? Are you hungry? Oh, I also mentioned, failed to mention, I was going to do this at the top of the call. This weekend, myself, Mr. Chester, and Mr. Sambo, and several other leaders, whoever else, again, remember, build where I build, be where I be, we'll be in Jamaica. We will be in Kingston, Jamaica. We'll be in Kingston, Jamaica. And we'll be there for the greater part of 2.5, 3 days. And then after that, I will be leaving and heading east again. The road trip, it's gonna be a hectic road trip. And I'm just gonna tell y'all transparently, the reason I'm going east is because they ain't slowing down for Christmas. They ain't slowing down for Christmas. Okay, so I'll be in London on the 18th. I'll be in Thailand on the 20th, Vietnam on the 22nd, back through Malaysia on the 27th, and back in Atlanta for New Year's. Who do you know? Who do you know? Okay. The world is available to you. While you're where you are, the world is available to you. All right. So thank you very much. I appreciate all. Marachi, you know I love what you put in there. The truth has become self-evident. Thank you, sir. And by the way, I'm going to say it again. Janie, where are you, Janie? Let me see if I can find Janie. It is Janie. You know, this Amarachi guy, you know, I told you, I'm never going to publicly, you know, just express the love me and this guy have, okay? So it's always going to be me and you, Janie. I'm just going to show the love through you. But I don't know if you saw all those kind words he put in our group today. I'm like, dude, you know. When you get a chance, JD, let that dude know I love him too.
He already knows that. He has to be rubbing it.
All right. Thank you all for all that you
Thank
do.
you, sir.
Congratulations on the new Sapphires that you've achieved. And guys, you know what? How about a challenge? How about I challenge you? How about a challenge? I ain't even figured it out yet, but how about if I challenge one of you to go Sapphire? Which one of you is it going to be? And next week, let's see, where will I be? I will be. Hey, Anderson, they better have good Wi-Fi. Tell Tony Blair they better have good Wi-Fi for me on Sunday because I'm going to be live from Kingston, Jamaica, man. Okay, so tell them they better have good Wi-Fi for me or I'm going to piggyback off of somebody's data. But I'm doing this call live, and I want to make sure. I would like to see someone announced as a brand new Sapphire. If you're ready for that, then it's easy. I'm going to show you how to do it. Just got to make the decision and get it done. So who's ready? Don't even raise your hand. Just make eye contact with me. Look me in the eye. Let me know. Send that message to me that you're going Sapphire, because when you start there and then you replicate it, you'll be diamond. You go Sapphire, teach someone else to go Sapphire, teach someone else to go Sapphire. I'm not talking about side by side. Levels down, you will become a diamond. 4 weeks, 4 months, your choice. That's how I think. Have a great night, guys. God bless, and we appreciate you. See you at the top because the bottom is way too crowded. Have a good night.